Hey guys, what's up? It's Steve. So today we're going to be doing some Dinosaur beef ribs. I'm going to be smoking these on the Kamado Joe. These ribs are massive. This is going to be a fun cook. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so let me go ahead and show you what we've got here. So these are basically called plate ribs. So you know, they're kind of known online as Dino ribs or Dino bones, Dinosaur bones. They're called all kinds of different things, but essentially you need to ask your butcher for some plate ribs. They come from the short plate section of the cow. And then what you'll often find in grocery stores is where they cut these into smaller pieces and they'll be labeled as beef short ribs. What I wanted to do, so we've got about, this is 10 pounds total. You can see how just massive these things are. And what I want to do real quick is, this one is straight out of the packaging, and then this one I've trimmed up. So I wanted to show you how much hard fat and silver skin is on the meat side of these ribs. I'll be completely honest, it's a pain in the butt trimming these guys up. I'll show you over here. All of that fat came off of just this one rack over here. It took a while. So, you know, if you have a butcher that'll go ahead and just trim these up for you, especially the silver skin, that stuff is a pain in the butt. If you can get your butcher to go ahead and do that for you, that's fine. Or if you enjoy doing it, go for it. But I wanted to show you a before and after. I'm basically done with this one, and so that's all I'm gonna do. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this guy trimmed up, then we're gonna get these lathered up with some mustard and get them rubbed down. All right, so I've got both racks trimmed up. Can see right here how much fat came off of those. So again, a lot of trimming taking place there. And all I'm gonna do is, you can really use whatever you want for a binder. I'm just gonna use some cheap yellow mustard. This is kind of typically what I do with large pieces of meat like this, like briskets and butts, and we're just gonna kind of get this rubbed down. Now, I'm gonna be using the Oak Ridge Barbecue Black Ops. This is a brisket rub, but it goes amazing with these large beef ribs like this. If you want to kind of go a little bit more authentic, what a lot of people do is just use salt and pepper. That's kind of how they do it in Texas typically. The other thing you'll notice is I'm not going too heavy with the rub. You really want just the nice flavor of the beef to come out on this. This Black Ops rub is going to provide a nice bark, but that's about it, just like that. And you can kind of get the sides a little bit if you want. Get this in. But you know, other than that, don't need to go too heavy. And we're just gonna let those sit for a bit, and then we'll pick up outside at the Kamado Joe. All right guys, let me go ahead and show you my setup on the Big Joe today. So I've got one of the Kamado Joe little lighter cubes going on in there with some smoke wood. We're gonna be cooking indirect today. So we're gonna go ahead and put our deflector plate in here, just like that. Then we're gonna get our main cooking rack installed. Just like that. All right, then I also wanted to show you a new accessory here that I've got. This is the grill extender, and it just sits right in there just like that. You can see it almost doubles your real estate here. So since these racks are so large, I'm gonna have one up underneath and then one on the top. So we're gonna be riding at 250 degrees today. And I'm gonna be controlling the Big Joe with my Cyber Q today. I gotta go out and run some errands and whatnot. Now, as you Kamado fans know, you know, you can run these manually and they'll just sit there and kind of ride. I do just kind of like that little bit of added benefit of using these fan controllers. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the lid shut and get this guy up to temp. All right guys, we've got our Big Joe preheated up to 250 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and slide this first rack right up underneath there, just like that. We're gonna get this other rack and put it on top of the grill extender here, right in the middle. Now what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna let these cook for 4 hours without opening the lid. At that point, we're gonna go ahead and take a look. Depending on time, I may or may not foil. When you're cooking beef ribs, you're looking for tenderness. And so I'm just gonna kind of see how it goes. We do have plans later on tonight, so I do have some time constraints, but so we'll just kind of figure that out as we go along. We'll pick back up in a little bit. All right guys, it has been right at 4.5 hours. I took a peek at these just a few minutes ago. Go ahead and show you what we're looking at here. See, we got some just gorgeous looking beef plate ribs here. Nice color, nice bark has formed. I'll show you the rack on the bottom in just a second, where you've got that meat pulling back off of the bone. That's very typical of these large beef plate ribs like this. And really all you're looking to do is just to take a probe and kind of just check for tenderness in a couple different spots in between those bones, just like this. And it's sliding through there pretty good, but that needs to continue cooking. I'm not gonna foil at this point. I think the cook is going pretty good. The meat's starting to get nice and tender, so we'll just let this keep going. And there you go, that's a cool little shot there of that rack on the bottom, where you can see that meat has pulled back off of the bone. Man, that just looks amazing. So like I said, we're just gonna let this keep on cooking here at 250. Probably gonna let these go about another hour, and I think they're gonna be close to being done. All right guys, it has been right at about 5.5 hours. I just checked these for tenderness again. These are good to go. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and just pull these and wrap them in some foil and let them rest for about 30 to 45 minutes. And then we'll go ahead and pick back up in the kitchen. I'll go ahead and slice these up and we'll take a look. So we'll see in just a bit. All right, so this is the smaller rack that I've let rest for about 30 minutes. If you remember from the beginning of the video, you know, there was meat all the way out here and it just pulled up again, which is very typical of beef ribs. So we're just gonna go ahead and take a knife here and just start slicing into that guy. Straight through, just like that. And let me go ahead and show you that. Check that out. Oh my gosh, that looks awesome. So all this meat up just like this. Super tender. Wow. That came out looking great. Let me show you these guys over here. Check that out. Nice little smoke ring. And one of these ribs is gonna be big enough for one person without a doubt. You got a ton of meat on each one of these. That just looks epic. All right, and here we go. We've got the other rack, the much larger rack. I've let it rest a little bit. Look, I mean, look at the size of this thing. The size of my hand. You can see how massive these things are. And you're just gonna follow the bone like that when you cut through that. Look at the size of that rib. There's my timer going off. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's just absolutely ridiculous. Let me show you these right here. So it kind of varies rack by rack how much meat you're gonna have on the top there. So that first rack that was a little bit smaller actually had a little bit more meat on the top, but then these are so much longer. And you can just see how incredibly just juicy and tender that is. That is amazing. All right, girls, let's go ahead and show everybody how massive these Dino ribs are. Pick those up, hold them out in front of you.
That is ginormous.
Hold it up a little bit like that so they can see the meat. Turn it so they can see the meat side. There you go. Look at that. Are you guys excited about that?
Yes.
All right.
I would not be able to eat a whole one, but I could eat a half of one.
All right, tell everybody, see you later and subscribe to our channel.
See you later and subscribe to our channel.